There we go. Hey,
You
hey,
are
hey.
you are on mute.
What's going on, everybody? It's the VIP Friday edition of our Q&A
Friday.
session. Yeah. Hope everybody's been having a good week. I see Jerry Smith here and Mag and Greg, and there's probably a few others that are going to straggle in here. That's okay. Friday is role play day. But I see Jerry. I was going to say, Jerry, we're keeping some odd hours, you and me. We're working some odd hours. uh, what I'm referring to is last night, the Midnight Mentor rode again. Midnight Mentor rides. I was out last night live streaming, and Jerry was there right there with me. He was my compadre the whole time. I was happy for it too. But we had a good time last night, Jerry. If you guys catch that if you want to get some popcorn in the microwave and just hang out and be silly and have fun talking about real estate stuff. We watched some old infomercials and unboxed Carlton sheets. I bought a Carlton Sheets product, brand new, about 30 years old. Nobody ever opened it, and I bought it off eBay, and we unboxed it. Wow, incredible content, really, if you think about it. Some of what he put in there, but anyway, I digress. Today is role play day. It's good to see everybody here. I'm glad you're here. If you're out there in the world, we are live streaming right here today. Sometimes we live stream our role plays, and today, if you're out there in the world and you want to participate, it's real easy. If you want to get in a community that supports and helps one another, you want some coaching and some accountability. That's what the VIP club is all about here at realestatewholesalersclub.com. So go check us out right there, and we'll see you on the inside. There's absolutely, we've taken away every reason for you to not feel comfortable getting into the VIP club. So go check it out over there, and we'll see you. We'll see you on the inside. It's pretty easy. Well, it's good to see you guys though from the VIP club here. Does anybody have any questions or anything popping off in your business that you'd like to talk about today or work on? Maybe a role play or a scenario in a business, in a deal you're working on, or anything
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, just a few questions.
Yeah, what you got, Meg? That's fine. Great,
Yeah,
man.
not. I was just looking at the lease option, and something came to my mind.
Yeah.
So two questions. And the first question is more towards the whenever we do a lease option, the 2 year. What is the 2 year that the actual buyer is paying the monthly payment? Does anything goes towards the mortgage when he buys the house, or any payments or whatnot, or uh, uh, and and let me ask you, is that um so anything goes, or do we have to do anything with the person like during those 2 years to make sure that they're gonna buy this house?
Yeah, that's a great question. And let me see if I can paraphrase it a little bit and make sure that I understand you properly. You're looking at an example lease option deal that you've structured with a homeowner, and or that you're structuring with a homeowner, and you're talking about doing a lease for 2 years with the option to purchase it.
Yeah,
Okay. So does any of the monthly rent that the tenant buyer pays, does any of that, do they get any credit for that?
yeah,
Are there any rent credits is what we call them?
right.
So in other words, does any portion of what they pay monthly come off of the purchase price that they're paying? And the answer really is I'm gonna give you the simple answer. And the simple answer is you could. Okay. You could set it up that way. And used to a while back, we did a lot in almost every case. Okay. But, and it would be 25, $50, at the most a month of the rent would go towards the purchase price. We did that to sweeten the deal for the tenant buyer, but we stopped doing it. And the reason why we stopped doing it is because they passed this law called the Dodd-Frank Act.
Hmm.
Now, I'm not a lawyer, and I can't even really begin to break down what all Dodd-Frank does, but it does a number of things. And one thing it does is it protects tenant buyers and owner finance buyers from some shady practices. Okay. And because of laws are what they are, it is what it is, right? Okay. Yeah. They don't always fit every case, and in some ways they kind of mess us up. Okay. Like giving rent credits was kind of a cool thing, and you could do it properly. But now, long story short, it's just safer to not do rent credits. It's just safer not to. So the long answer is that, but the short answer is you could, but we don't. We choose not to for safety's sake.
Yeah, thank you. And anything on our side, our end, like as investors, that we need to do to make sure the person is going to purchase the house?
Yeah. Okay. So if you're going to assign the property deal over to your tenant buyer, making this a wholesale lease option, if you're going to assign it, then you're going to be out of the deal and you're going to walk away. You have no obligations or responsibilities, and you stand to receive no further benefits or monetary gain from this deal either. Okay. You have walked away from the deal, assigning it over for a check, that option fee, non-refundable option fee. So you gave the assignment to them in exchange for that money. Now they are in your place. Okay. That's what assignment means. You put them in your place in exchange for a check, right? So now you're not even in it. So technically, the answer to the question of, is there anything I need to do to help the tenant buyer during the rental term qualify for the note? The answer is, in an assignment, there's not much you can do. Okay. You're not even a part of the deal. But you should tell your tenant buyer before you do the deal that they need to consult a home loan lender. Okay. A residential mortgage loan originator, an RLMO or whatever, RMLO, I don't know. That's the abbreviation. There's an acronym for everything, I swear, in real estate. It's crazy. All this jargon. Why not just keep it simple? Keep it simple. That's what I believe in. It's got to be ABC for me, or I can't do it. Okay. So if it's a sandwich, though, if it's a sandwich lease option, is this something that we should be concerned about, helping the tenant buyer get that mortgage? Yeah. It's a sandwich. We're staying in the middle. So we should be concerned about helping this tenant buyer get this mortgage if we can. Okay. So it's very important that, one, you select the right tenant buyer in the first place. One that went and talked to a residential mortgage loan originator, an RMLO or whatever. that they know they have a plan to be able to buy in a reasonable amount of time, in the time frame of this tenancy. Okay. Now, so you got to pick them right. But then if you're sandwiching this and your tenant buyer is living in there and you're sticking around in the deal, you're staying around in the deal, what things could we do to help that tenant buyer stay on track, qualify for that loan? Anybody have any ideas?
Run their credit.
Well, that'll be part of picking the right tenant.
Yeah.
So you'll have done that before you get them in there.
Right.
Anybody
them
have any
connected
ideas?
with a broker.
Be in communication with them.
Stay in communication with them. Jerry,
Get them connected with a broker.
wait a minute. Wait, how's the Family Feud work? What's he say? Survey says, ding, 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 ding. Jerry, number one answer. Stay in communication with them.
Yes.
What'd you say, Harold?
Get them connected with a broker.
What kind of broker?
Suggest that they get connected with like a realtor broker.
They wouldn't need a realtor broker in a lease option sandwich deal.
Mm-hmm.
If you brought one to the table, you'd complicate things.
The I guess the loan brokers is what I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. If you know of a great place that people like them and you know about them can qualify for a good home loan and at a decent percentage rate and down payment and all that stuff, hook them up, give them the hookup.
And
Yeah.
you can suggest credit repair also.
Survey says, ding, 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 Harold with number 2 and 3, because that's exactly right. Stay in touch with them, right? If you can send any great referrals of mortgage lenders to them, wonderful. And what was the last one? Help them with credit repair.
Yes.
That's possible too. Yeah. How could we help them with credit repair? Anybody have any suggestions?
Like give them a list of credit repair companies.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Anybody else have any ideas on how we could do credit repair or help them with credit repair to help them get the mortgage? That's why you would do that, right?
Yes.
Because that's the issues. They don't qualify today, so they got something on their credit, right? So we got to work on the credit. Now it may be something like credit repair wouldn't be necessary because they might just need to pay down a credit card.
Mm.
Maybe they're not in default on the credit card, or maybe maybe something else like that. That they could fix in time if they just put a little effort into it. So credit repair is not a 100% foolproof solution for everyone. Okay. But what things could we do? Anybody else have any ideas? Credit repair. I'll tell you what I do. I used to be one of these lease option guys that thought, oh, you know what? I'm seeing the money. I'm seeing the dollar signs in several ways here. I could monetize myself in numerous ways here during this deal. I could sandwich lease option these deals where I get money up front, I get money monthly, and I get the back end equity when they buy. Plus, get this, I could start my own side gig credit repair business and run them through that while getting a hookup for a referral from a mortgage guy. You know what I discovered? I discovered that all that was a waste of my time because that's little money. $500 or something from a mortgage guy. You'd be lucky if you got that much. You know what I'm saying? On a referral, and the credit repair, it's not worth much. You can go over to lexingtonlaw.com, I think is what it is. I think that's what me and my wife use. Lexington Law. What do you mean you and your wife use it? Yeah. Man, if you're out there in the world doing shit, yeah, you need somebody looking over your credit a little bit. You need some credit check. What do they call it? Credit locks, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes. Good morning. Yes, Lexington Law does do that stuff.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not a bad idea. I mean, if you're starting to accumulate something in your life and get a little business going and get a little credit going and all that, it's okay to get involved with somebody like that with credit locks and things like that. I've seen it pay off. What is
that, Justin? Like credit locks? And
that's where nobody can use your credit, not even you, until you tell them, hey, you call them up and say, hey, I'm about to buy a car, so give us 30 minutes. Okay, sir, we'll unlock your credit for 30 minutes. Boom. You see what I mean?
I didn't hear you say credit lock. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah. I think that's where we get the credit lock from, but Lexington Law does credit repair as well.
Right, yeah, they do all
Yeah.
that, and they help with like debt resolution and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But even if someone tries to use your credit, don't you get like if you signed up on anything like, let's say Credit Karma or anything like that? I have what I have. I have Credit Karma and other ones. They actually send me a message immediately, like someone tried to use your credit. Did you do that?
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's a form of credit lock. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So that's
what
what it is.
That's what I'm talking about. But Lexington Law, I'm not sure if Credit Karma does this, but Lexington Law offers credit repair. Now, they have a super good, I've seen guys with IRS liens, state liens, tax liens I'm talking about here. Like, this is heavy duty shit. I've seen guys with all kinds of stuff on their credit and run it through Lexington Law's credit repair. It is like $97 a month or something crazy like that base. I think you can bump it up to $117 a month. And I think that adds the credit lock to it or something. But the $97 a month, I've seen folks go with all that stuff on their credit. I've seen it remove it. I've seen it remove federal tax liens. I've seen it remove state tax liens and judgments. I've seen it remove lots and lots of stuff. Okay. And I've seen it do it in a matter of 2, 3, 4 months. Okay. So if you can get your tenant buyer into a credit repair situation and it takes their qualifying time from 18 months down to 4 or 5 or 6, that's probably not a bad thing. You're getting in and out of the deal. Everybody's getting what they want. Okay. So there is some merit to this credit repair stuff, but is there merit in you doing the credit repair? I don't think so.
Justin,
yeah,
you and I had a conversation about this, I think a couple of weeks ago. That was one of my big concerns. I want to protect the buyer and I want to protect the seller both.
Yeah.
And I want it to be a good thing for them. So I actually last night was on YouTube and heard a guy talking. He's an investor from Virginia. I don't think he's quite as active in lease options now as he was a few years ago, but he said that he had a 95% success rate of the tenant buyer actually buying that house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, that's a huge protection for the seller.
Yeah.
So in fact, probably the best thing, you want me to send you a link to that video and
that'd be cool. I'll take a look at it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That way I won't take a lot of your time talking about it now, but
no, that's fine, brother. You're not bothering anybody. You can share freely here. That's
I think, isn't there someone in the group that automatically is hooking up his tenant guys with a credit person to make sure they qualify for the loan?
I don't know.
I'm thinking Victor said maybe, but is he here this morning?
I think Victor does do credit repair stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was him.
I think so.
I don't remember the name though. I don't think it was Lexington. I can't remember what he said the name of his was.
I don't recall either, but I think you're right.
But that's a thought too.
You know, Greg brings up an awesome point here. And that is what is the percentage of success rate with tenant buyers? Okay. And I'm just kind of learning some stuff here too, Greg. I mean, you kind of enlightened me. Like you hit me with an arrow. Like when you were talking, ding, right in my brain. So my thought is the success rate of your sandwich lease option tenants or your assignment tenant buyers actually buying the property. Okay. I remember a time in my business when it was 40% would buy. Whew, that's tough.
It used to, It
Yeah.
used to be pretty bad.
Now, I think the responsibility falls on the tenant buyer, but not really. I think the responsibility ultimately falls on me because I'm the guy who pre-qualified or disqualified the tenant buyers. You know, I should have done a better damn job. What was wrong with me that day? Was I desperate for the money and I made some okay decisions instead of great decisions? The answer is yes. Okay. Now, if I'm going to be a professional business person, I have to be, I need to be more successful with these transactions than 40%, right? So I've started having some conversations with these tenant buyers, okay, talking to them, trying to educate them, encouraging them, hey, go, and you guys have heard me mention this, go see a residential mortgage lender. Do you have a plan? How long did he say it would take? What are some things that he said that you need to do in order to get ready to buy? Okay, these are all things that you need to know before you move in. Okay, now here's a mortgage lender you can call. I used to even try to do a 3-way call with them with Rocket Mortgage or Quicken Loans at the time is who it was. The Rocket, you know, just I'm quiet like a church mouse in the background and they're the one making the call, you know, just so I can hear too.
Yeah,
you know,
to just help it and make sure they actually do it.
Yeah, exactly, Debbie. That's exactly why. I don't do that anymore because I find it's very, very hard to get them to do with me. The tenant buyer is uncomfortable with me on the phone. And you know what? I get it. I mean, they're undressing financially in front of this mortgage lender. This is an uncomfortable bunch of shit to do today. You know, I mean, we've all been there, right? We've all applied for some kind of a loan or an application at a rental place or someplace, and we have to undress financially on this application. Like, here's really who I am money wise. Oh, and by the way, here's my social security number. So you can go pull all this information up anyway. Why didn't you just pull it up in the first damn place? Instead of making me write it all down on this application or have this big, long drawn out conversation about it. And then you find out that I didn't really know my own situation or I was lying about it. I mean, this is all uncomfortable. It's just, this sucks. Okay. So getting them on the phone with a 3-way, I found that to be extremely challenging. Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Debbie.
I was just going to say, if we encourage them and do the best that we can to ensure that they're doing that, and hopefully maybe we can get them to, I don't know, show us it wouldn't be a receipt, something to show us that they did it. And then from there, it's their responsibility to make sure they follow through with it.
Yeah.
Justin.
That's my thoughts on it. But yeah, Greg.
Yeah. I think there are companies that you can go to, and for about $35, they will actually put that tenant buyer through mortgage underwriting. They're usually staffed by former mortgage brokers, or at least they have a lot of knowledge about it. They'll actually put them through underwriting, and they'll come up with a game plan and say, hey, if you'll do this for the next 6, 12, 18 months, you'll qualify. You should qualify for a loan at the end.
Yeah.
And that way it takes it off of you.
Yeah.
It's not expensive to do.
Yeah.
And it should be an expert opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's what the company that Victor uses does.
You know, in fact, that's what Rocket Mortgage does. Like, if you called Rocket Mortgage and said, hey, I'm interested in a home loan, I'm pretty sure I don't qualify today, but they'd say, oh, well, it's okay. We'll take a look. And then they'll tell you, oh, well, this is up. This is what's up. And this is kind of what you need to work on. And this is how long I think it might take you. So let's stay in touch. See, they're trying to reel in a sale too. Let's stay in touch and here's some things you can do. So that's why I use them, and they're free. But I bet what you're talking about is probably more intense or more?
Well, they
professional?
actually have to apply.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They actually do 2 years of income. They do just like they're applying for a mortgage.
I see. That's
And
cool.
then you get a printout
Yeah.
of they're actually doing the underwriting process, knowing the person's probably can't get a loan.
Right.
But once they get all that information, and it is a lengthy process, you know what it's like to apply for a mortgage.
Yeah.
But you've got an accurate picture then of what this person's chances are.
Yeah.
And how long it's going to take them to repair whatever problem they got. A lot of people are just self-employed and they hide all their income.
Yeah. Exactly.
And sometimes they'll actually tell them to go back and refile last year.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll say, going forward, this next tax return, here's what you need to do. You need to quit hiding all this and put it down.
Right.
Then go back to hiding it once they get the mortgage. But
yeah.
Stash under the mattress, guys.
Yeah. Put it in a mayonnaise jar, bury it in the backyard. That's funny. Greg, if you have a link to some of that stuff, can you put it in the VIP Facebook group so we can take a look at some of that?
I'll put it here.
I'll get it to you. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I appreciate it. And if you want to share that video in there too, that's okay. We'll all take a look at it, man. So there's some things you can do to help a tenant buyer. I think you guys have brought me to that conclusion. So I've improved my closing ratio now to somewhere close to 70%, but I'm going to tell you somewhere around 60 to 70%. Okay. Of the ones that actually perform. Now you told me there's a guy that does 95%. So that means there's room for improvement in my business. You see what I'm saying? That's okay. That's what I'm saying. You hit me with an arrow, dang, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. What thing is, what am I missing here? There's something I could tweak. I could turn the screw a little bit. And I think it comes down to my pre-screenings, but I'll have to give this some thought. This is a great VIP discussion. Great discussion.
What he tried to do.
It's amazing
now,
if they
he
got
was
that
also
high of a percentage.
I think that's incredible too.
He was also a real estate broker. And so he said, believe it or not, through his qualification process, and that was probably his biggest concern.
Mm-hmm.
So he approached the whole thing from that perspective.
Yeah.
He said about 50%. First of all, he was doing this back when the market was really, really soft. And he said, I'd get 200 applications I'd get 200 responses from tenant buyers on one property.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, I won't give you all the details. He had a way to qualify them up front, but then he went into more detail later. And then he said, usually on each property, he'd have at least 4 people that were really good prospects, looked like they would be able to complete the task and buy at the end. And he said, but this is what surprised me. He said at least 1 out of those 4 would actually qualify for a loan.
Really?
Which was no problem for him because he's a realtor. And he'd say, well, look, let me show you some houses and you don't need lease option. Let me go back to these other 3 that really need a lease option. And then he'd pick the best of the 3, the one that he thought had the best chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so he's got a process. That's what I'm hearing. A real professional process and procedure. And he just plugs them into the machine and the machine works them basically, right? I mean, his program.
Yeah, it's pretty automated, I think.
Yeah. So, this is probably, if you want to judge yourselves, as you get your businesses going, of how really great at lease options you are, this is probably the metric to judge by. Are my tenant buyers do I have a pretty high success rate, you know, with,
Mhm.
with pleasing these people? And you always want to strive for a better one, you know, always. This topic goes hand in hand. Hey, it's good to see you, Carmen. It's good to see everybody here. Holy cow, we have a huge group. I wish it showed when we have it on Facebook and stuff, everybody that doesn't have the video on, because there's a bunch. And we're glad to have you here. Debbie and Greg and Jerry and Aaron and Dion and George and Harold and Jason and Joe and John and Carmen and Larry. And I think there's several more. Okay. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. This topic goes hand in hand. This tenant buyer, helping them get to the end goal, helping them cross the finish line. You know, it's like the Super Bowl when they're at the fourth quarter and they're in the end, almost to the end zone, and it's like are they gonna score? You know, it seems like this happens every Super Bowl. It's like they have to break the tie, or they have to do this in order to keep from losing, and it's like they got to go 1 yard. 1 yard. They're right there. You know, I'm sure tenant buyers feel that way. Like, I'm so close. I'm actually in the house. Now I just got to qualify for the loan. So helping them out, picking the right tenant buyers and advising them right, having a program and a process. I'm interested in learning more too, because I want to be better at this too. Like I said, my numbers are I think pretty good, but they could be better. And this topic goes hand in hand with what happens when the 30, 40% currently in my business that don't buy. What happens then with the homeowner and with me and with the property when the tenant buyer says bye-bye? Okay.
That's what I was thinking. This would help make the
Yeah.
seller, the homeowner, happier, feel more comfortable too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Having a good process, procedure will really help you have a great relationship and maintain a great relationship with the sellers. Right.
Also, it'll help you in the sales process, because you can share this process with your seller when you're trying to talk them into probably doing something most of them don't want to do. They're afraid of that. They're afraid of that tenant buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like you were saying yesterday, Justin, putting them in a partnership with them as far as approving the tenant to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent idea. You know, that's really, I'm a firm believer in honesty and transparency, right? I mean, just being honest with these folks. I never tell them, I don't like the bait and switch. Okay. I got this course. I won't say who it is. Big time lease options coach. Big time. I won't say who it is. But she has the same name as my ex-wife. So that's two strikes against her right there. No, I'm just
I gotta tell you, man, the best one out there is Justin Chemins.
Oh, dude, you're sweet. You're sweet, man. Thank you. I bought this huge popular coach's course on lease options. And what I noticed about her training is in the phone call training, when you're calling a homeowner to get a deal, it was like such bait and switch kind of stuff. Like I'm buying the house for me, but then wait a minute, no, I'm actually going to put so-and-so in there. And you know, it just didn't feel right to me. And plus it was a way long conversation, and you know, I don't believe in that at all. I really don't. I believe in 3-minute pre-qualify or disqualify, get on with the deal or get off the phone. You know, that's reality. That's business. But so I don't like the bait and switch stuff. I like honesty, transparency, being straight up forward, clear to the point. Hey, my name is Justin. I'm a real estate investor, or I'm a property buyer in this area, or I'm thinking about buying some properties in this area, whatever you want to say. Okay. But I'm Justin. I'm thinking about buying some properties in this area. I saw yours online. I wanted to call you and ask you a few questions. Let you ask me a few questions. If it's not a good fit for you, you could tell me no. Okay. That's the agenda. Now, I'm implying right there that I'm an investor, so I'm not going to be living in the house. Now, the first time it comes up and they say, hey, are you going to be living in the house? My answer is always this. No, I'm a real estate investor. Here's what I want to do.
Yeah, you tell them right away.
Yeah, I would like to put some good people in there, and I'd like to make a little bit of money doing it, but I also want this to be a good solution for you. Is that unreasonable, or can we go ahead and talk about this? And then shut up, because they're about to remove this objection off the table forever and ever. Okay. Now, they'll 99 times out of 100, they're okay with this because they understand you're being honest. Yeah, okay, he wants to. Maybe they don't want to do that, but they're okay with you saying this. This okay. Now I understand. He's an investor. He wants to put some good people in here, and he wants to make a little bit of money, but he wants this to be a good fit for me too. Okay, that seems like that's reasonable. Okay. So I'm really honest and upfront with them about it. Well, what happens? This comes up almost every time. What happens when they tear up my house? What happens when they stop making the payment, Justin? And in my head, I know that 3 out of 10 are going to stop making the payment and move out. In my head, I know that. But now the homeowner's asking me, what happens if this happens? Well, here's another opportunity for me to be pretty open and transparent. Okay. I'm going to respond to the homeowner something like this. What happens if they tear up my house? What happens if they stop making the payment? What happens if the end of the deal happens and it's the tenant buyer and they're gone? Whatever scenario creates that. If the tenant buyer walks out, what happens? Well, Mr. Homeowner, that's a great question. What would happen if somebody tore up your house and I wasn't involved? Okay. I'm going to let them start giving me what they think should happen. Okay.
Yeah.
What would happen, Mr. Homeowner? That's a great question. What would happen, Mr. Homeowner, if somebody was living in there and they stopped making the payment and I wasn't involved? Because see, I'm planning on not being involved. Right? I'm assigning this deal over. I'm planning on, Mr. Homeowner, what would happen if this happened and I wasn't involved? Well, we'd have to evict them. Somebody'd have to evict them. Yes, sir. They would have to be evicted. Yeah. Here's the good thing, Mr. Homeowner. These are not normal tenants. These are people who want to own the home. They are in a process to clean up their credit and to purchase the home. So we've done all kinds of background checks on them. Tenant screens, income verification, employment verification, credit checks. Now, if I were to change the document to read that you're in the driver's seat, Mr. Homeowner, and you can see all that stuff, and you can either approve or disapprove, does that make you feel more comfortable? And can we go ahead and move forward with it today? Then shut up. Zip it. Am I being honest and transparent, or am I still bait and switching? Somebody tell me.
It's honest.
I think so.
You're always honest. You never do.
Well, so thank you, Debbie. So if in the 8th month, this tenant buyer packs up his stuff and moves out, what kind of conversation am I going to have now with the homeowner?
Do it again.
Dude, we're going to do this again. I'll tell you what. And when I get some money from the next one, I'll help make up a payment or two that you had to hit. Okay. I'll work with you again, but man, that guy that you and I approved the first time, we both thought he was a good one. But you know, something came up. Life's funny. We.
Yep.
We. Yeah. Yes. And there's places on the paperwork where the tenant buyer and the seller will sign off on this before the deal keys are exchanged. So if anybody ever comes back and says, he didn't tell me, he didn't show me somebody was moving in there, I had no idea who it was. Baloney. You signed off on the disclosure right next to the tenant buyer saying everything was cool. I told you. It was on paper. You signed it. Okay, I've never had that fight. But if you had to have that fight, the paperwork and everything you said has been honest.
Justin,
Yeah.
just on the same subject, on the assignment lease option and on the sandwich lease option. When you are on a call with these people, uh, when would you know would be a best way to do an assignment or a sandwich? Or can you change it? Like you can explain to them the two ways that you have, the creative way that you have to purchase this home.
No, you don't want to bring it up to the homeowner that you have two techniques that you can use. It's one's called an assignment and one's called a sandwich. Okay. You don't want to do that. You just want to put it under contract, lease option contract. Once you have it under contract, now you have a little bit of time to decide, do I want to stay in the middle or do I want to just assign this? Okay. It's up to you. You have some time to decide while you're looking for a tenant buyer.
Yeah, see how the
Okay.
numbers are going to
Yeah.
work out.
Yeah,
Is there
sure.
room? Is there extra room in the rent
Yeah,
to make it worth staying, and equity and whatever?
exactly, Debbie. So just get it under contract. And
Yeah,
then
but
you have,
sometimes when we say, if I would be able to get you a tenant buyer and I'm gonna purchase and the person would purchase in 2 years, I would be able to take care of all your maintenance and you don't have to worry about, how we go about the line. That's a sandwich lease option, is straight up.
yeah, if you describe it that way, that you're coming off like a sandwich lease option. Yeah. I like to say it more like I said it a minute ago than that. That was kind of an old school way that I used to say it, but I've changed my ways. Okay. I've tried to improve. So that's my advice on that. I don't try to say anything that leads them to believe that I'm going to take care of the maintenance or that I'm going to guarantee that payment. Okay. I did that back in the early 2000s. And I had some, when the 30 and 40% or at the time, 60% of the tenant buyers didn't buy, I had some real pissed off sellers. And I had some sellers going, okay, well, you said you'd guarantee the payment. You said you'd guarantee the maintenance. So get your ass over here. Okay. That was uncomfortable. I didn't like that. So I've had to sculpt my words differently. Okay. To now create a partner here with the homeowner, because he's in the driver's seat. Even you're in the driver's seat. You get to approve or disapprove. We're in this together. Mr. Homeowner, worst case scenario, this tenant buyer changes their mind and moves out in 10 months. Now, what would happen then? Oh, well, that'd be horrible. You don't think that's going to happen, do you? Well, no, I don't think that's going to happen, but I think it's important that you think about worst case scenarios. I mean, it's okay to have a conversation with a homeowner like this when you're signing the paperwork, sure, or right after they do. Worst case scenario is they move out, and here's what I recommend we do if that happens. We'll just put somebody else in their place and get it done anyway. And if you had to make a payment or two, okay, then I will reimburse you from the next guy. All right. Maybe you have a conversation with that. Yeah. If they are pushing that conversation and you need to be open and honest, that's how you describe that. I'm never like, oh, I'm going to guarantee this payment, like my company will personally guarantee this payment if this tenant buyer. Bullshit, man. I'm not betting on that horse. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that guy. Even if I did, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that for my own sister. You know what I'm saying? No, forget her. Because, I don't know what that person's life is like or what's going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball, but I guarantee you, as soon as I guarantee somebody else's payment, I'm going to have to hit a lick. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm going to have to stroke a check, and that's not what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to pick up checks, not stroke checks. So, that's all good discussions. All good discussions. It's about being a professional. And I think I think honestly we need to be professionals. Is anybody hearing that static in the background, or is that just me?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear it.
I don't know what causes that. I don't know. It just kind of popped up. But we need to strive to be
I don't
professionals.
hear it now.
I don't either. That's good. I don't know. I think it might have been me, but I don't know, something with my wires. There it is again. Strange. Huh. Anyway, well, does anybody have any other questions or anything they'd like to share?
Hey, Justin, on your contract, your lease option memo contract, it
Yeah.
says the seller can either sell their house, or if they decide to take it off the market. Is that until we find a tenant buyer, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So in other words, the nature of the flex option agreement memo, or the seller flex option amendment or agreement memo, is non-exclusive. So it'll help me close a sale in the case of the homeowner says, well, and I've had them say it a lot in my career, but they'll say, I'm uncomfortable with this, because if I do this, then that means I'm kind of just trusting you to do it. And what if I find somebody, then I can't do that. So it helped me close deals where I can say, well, listen, Mr. Homeowner, if I put it in the agreement that this is non-exclusive, you run your horses, I'll run mine, and whoever gets to the finish line first wins. Is that okay? And oh yeah, okay, so that makes sense. I can if I find somebody, I can still bring them and do the deal. Or if you find somebody, Justin, then okay, yeah, that'll work. Okay, so that's why I have that in the agreement, because it kind of gets me around that. But here's what I know about that is most homeowners are not equipped to sell real estate. Okay, they don't know much about doing Craigslist ads or having an ad on Facebook Marketplace or some of these other places. They don't know how to do a rent to own or a lease option. So they're just looking for a retail buyer. Then they also work a job and they have to schedule showings, and oh my God, here's 3 more people I got to respond to. And they fail at this. Okay. A lot of them just straight fail. Thus an entire industry called realtors. Right. So when you're talking to a homeowner like this, and they're running their horses against yours, you have a by far better chance. The odds are in your favor to win.
Okay.
Because you're a real estate investor. You're a little more experienced. You've got some training. You've got some club support here on how to build ads and how to do things. And you've got the want to. They have the need to. There's a difference. Okay. All right. So yeah, good conversations today, guys. Good questions. You guys are asking some real ninja level stuff, and I like it. I'm getting better just being here around you, champions. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. It's good to see all of you here. Anybody else have any questions or anything? We got about 10 minutes, I think, before we ought to wrap up.
So you're saying when you get them qualified, you have them to go fill out the paperwork for the check the credit. You also send it over to the homeowner. Also, correct? Okay,
I use mysmartmove.com.
Right.
mysmartmove.com. So what that's like is you'll log in as a landlord.
Right.
You open up an account as a landlord, and it'll allow you to put a property listing in there, meaning you put the address and some information about the property, and it'll also allow you to add prospective tenants. Okay. It doesn't say tenant buyers. It'll say tenants. Okay. So once you add a prospective tenant, you'll say Jerry Smith and Michael Goolsby want to rent this property, and here's the email address. And it'll say, do you want a background screen? Check this box. Do you want a credit screen? Check this box. Okay. Do you want this? Check motor vehicle records? Check this box. Whatever you want. Then it'll say the most important question: do you want to pay for this, or do you want the tenant to pay for this? You better check that tenant box. Okay. So once you're done and you hit go, it'll send an email to Jerry and Michael And Jerry and Michael will open that email and there'll be a link in it and it'll say, click here to apply for such and such a house. Okay. The address that you're selling. And once they do that, they'll go in and be prompted to fill out an application and it'll be all their personal information. And then TransUnion will do the background checks and the credit screens and all the stuff, the tenant screens, everything that you requested. And it'll charge them. It'll charge their credit card. It'll ask them to pay for this, not you. Once they've completed that, you'll get an email in your inbox that says that Jerry and Michael both completed their background checks and screens and all that, and that TransUnion has a recommendation for you. Now, when you click the
Cool. So
button,
all that can happen in that one place. That's cool.
yeah. So when you click the button, it'll take you right to a recommendation on Jerry and Michael. And it'll say Jerry has a clean background. Jerry has decent credit. And Jerry checks out pretty good. We classify him as a recommend to rent. He's like a B on a scale of A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. He's a B. So
Does
we
it show you like their entire credit report?
No, it won't show you all their personal private. That's what's great too here is I can tell the tenant buyer, listen, I won't be seeing any of your real private information. I'll just get a recommendation from them on what to do.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. That's even, yeah.
That's it. Okay. So, but this is coming from TransUnion. So it protects the tenant buyer's private information, but at the same time gives me some reports on them that aren't, containing their private information so much. And it allows me then to email forward this information to the seller and say, hey, listen, this is somebody that's ready to go in. They're ready to move in the first of the month. All I need you to do is pre-qualify these people. I think they're looking really good. Okay. And there you go. You're off to the races. Sign here. Boom. Now the deal's done. Okay. We got us a deal. Jerry, Michael, and the homeowner and me, we're all on board on the same page. Now, what happens though, if Michael's comes back and it says, Michael has pretty decent credit, or Michael has no credit. And it says that Michael's background history is he was an axe murderer. Okay. He was a part-time axe murderer back in his early 20s for a few years. And he's out on parole. Okay. It'll tell you that there's some things going on in the criminal history. Okay. Now, you want to be cognizant of this because you're in some cases, you're going to have to share this with the seller, like we've been talking about. Okay. So be cautious of when you're sharing some of these things. You might call Michael and say, Hey, Michael, there's something on your report here that says that you did some time in the federal penitentiary for a series of axe murders back in the late 80s, early 90s. So, can you explain a little bit of that to me so that we feel a little more comfortable with what's going on? Because you might have to explain this to the seller too. Okay. See, this is where a deal gets made. All right. It's with axe murderers. You guys understand my point though. You're going to have to work out some of the details because these are humans. Okay. A plug and B plug don't necessarily always plug in right. Okay. You have to these are humans. We have to kind of, work them together. All right.
Yep.
So don't feel like this is going to just all come together beautifully and no effort from you at all. There will be a little bit of work. Okay. But mysmartmove.com. You guys should check it out, bookmark it. Because you're going to need it one day if you ever want to qualify a tenant. Anybody else out there got a question or anything? Craig, I appreciate you saying that this conversation today is fire.
Hey, Justin, this is George. I was just wanting to let everybody know that I was talking to a couple of wholesalers this week, and well, more than a couple, but two of them, they wanted me to send them $5,000 EMD non-refundable, so they could put the house under contract. Isn't that stupid?
So they could put the house under contract, or
Yeah, they were going to put it under contract after I sent them $5,000.
oh yeah, that's crazy.
But they're
Somebody,
out there. I just wanted to make everybody aware of that.
somebody explain to me why that's crazy.
I can tell you why it's crazy, because why are you going to send them directly? They don't have it under contract. There's no escrow. There's no title company. So they want the money in their pocket. It's a scam, really. They want you to send in the money directly. Okay, now I'll put it under contract because I got $5,000 in my pocket. Because they're saying like, well, the seller wants $5,000 EMD down, which is fine, but I ain't going to give it to you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm looking for JV partners that have a deal under contract. I ain't trying to send nobody money so they can go try to get something under contract.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I ain't trying to send nobody any money, period.
Thank you.
I'm trying to make money here, not spend money. So 100% agree with you, George. Here's a question I have. Do you think that scam works on anybody?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You got people that want to get the real estate so bad, they do anything.
I'm thinking,
There'd be some new investors out there just trying things, not being helped.
Yeah, well, you know what? They need to be told, well, hey, listen, if you want to be a real estate wholesaler, you need to learn how to get properties under contract, and you need to learn how to do it for less than $5,000 earnest money. Otherwise, you need to go find a job and work at McDonald's or something where you belong. I don't know.
And it needs to go in escrow, not in your pocket.
Yes, and that will go to the title company. Any money, I would probably say, well, it needs to be under contract first of all.
Mhm.
But if it is under contract and they're looking for 5,000, if my buyer is willing to do 5,000 down, that money will go to the title company or the closing attorney. That ain't going in anybody's pocket. No. See, when I got started doing this back in, it was mid 90s when I started studying this stuff, but it was like, then you could get away with getting an earnest money given right to you as a wholesaler, and you could put it in your pocket and you'd be cool. But that went by the wayside. Nobody does that anymore. Nobody. All money flows through the title company because it just makes more sense. It's so shady if you don't do it that way. But so I can't imagine that deal working. But you guys think that scam works on people? Maybe it does. Man.
Hopefully not too many, but
hopefully not too many. I mean, how many of those can you do in a month? No, I'm just kidding.
Put some colors on it.
Did you have can you forward me the copy of their text so I can see how they worded that? No, I'm just teasing. Hey guys, I love you. We've been here an hour. It's awesome to see you. It's Friday. Have a blessed weekend. Okay. Remember, Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays are my biggest days in the week. So don't forget to have some time for you and your family and the important stuff. But also remember, this is a big buyer and seller time too. So if you've got some leads, make some calls. If you don't have some leads, get some. And just spend a little bit of time working on your business this weekend. It will pay off. Okay. There's invested time and profitable time. You can't get to that profitable time until you make that investment time. All right. Anybody else with any last things?
What's up tomorrow? Tomorrow's call?
Yep. Tomorrow is Shut Up Money Show. It's 10 a.m. We have a guest. His name is Ryan Garrett. And he's a big time kind of guy. I think you're going to learn a lot from him. From what I hear, he's going to be doing a mini course. So it'll be
Does
real
Steve
good
stuff,
training.
doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Big time.
A gorilla something or something like that.
Guerrilla marketing and stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. So it should be a fun time. And we'll see you then if you can make it 10 a.m. Central Time. If not, there'll be a replay. Catch up later. All right, guys. I'll see you later.
See you later.
Have a
Justin.
good
Bye,
one.
everybody.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you. Have a
weekend.
blessed week.